Hey everybody, we're here for another Just Look vlog episode. I'm Marissa.
I'm Selena, the programs manager.
I'm Pamela, director.
And founder. Don't sleep on yourself.
Founder, director, yeah.
And today's Just Look vlog topic is... This is literally just for me to remember.
Yeah, it sounds like, wait.
Grassroots Organizing.
Yes.
Okay, so not to start off complaining, but literally my first thought when it comes to, it really is. Like, I almost think about having like a separate podcast is just me complaining every single day. Because there's always something. But when it comes to grassroots organizing, the first thing that comes to my mind is like barriers, you know, all the barriers associated with being a grassroots organization. And then putting it in further context, a Black-led grassroots organization. Further context in Seattle, Washington.
Woman-led.
Yeah, Black woman and queer-led. It's wild out here. Yeah. So and when I think about this,
also, not to cut you off, but like having younger leadership is another barrier, because so many times we have gone to places as leadership and they're like, oh, the youth is here, like,
and it's like, yeah, we are youth, but I feel like you're saying that in a weird way.
But you guys
so what I be thinking about is literally, yeah, I mean, we know that. What I really be thinking about is grants. Okay?
Oh my
When it comes to grants, okay, y'all remember how, and I swear I always talk about this, how they used to have, you know, these gatekeepers would come out and be like, oh yeah, you know, so we realized that we weren't giving any money to Black people from this foundation. Like, I remember we did a whole video about it from like Seattle Foundation or who have you. They ain't the only ones. Everybody out here like, oh, we haven't invested anything historically into the Black community, and now we're gonna do something about that. And then they're like, so we're gonna take these huge grants that we've historically given to white people and still give them to white people, and then we're going to create a very small short-term investment grant, and we're gonna give that to Black and brown communities to prove that we are not racist and that we are investing in their communities. Like, but y'all still giving the same large grants that we all could have just started giving to the Black and brown communities to those white-led mainstream organizations.
Okay, so you know how when we're doing the community needs response, we decided to give larger amounts so that folks don't have to piece together as many, resources from
different organizations to get.
So that's literally what grassroots organizations have to do
with grants.
We have to we find all these, there's all these small amounts, $10,000, $15,000, $30,000, $50,000. Sounds like it's a lot of money, but it's not when you're actually trying to provide real resources for the community. So it reminds me of that. Like, we have to piece together, go to all these different foundations and businesses and what have you, financial institutions, to piece together these small amounts of crumbles, I'll say, because that's usually they're crumbs, literally.
And we take the 15 cent and we make the dollar and we get
exactly. And then we have to like piece all those together to make this larger amount. And it's like insulting when there's all these large amounts of fundings, but they're not available to grassroots nonprofits.
Let me tell you my rant.
My
rant is that they will give you these hoops to jump where you have to bring your total description of your programming, the budget, the description, how many employees you need. They want it in detail. Then you don't get it, but months later, you see these programs being enacted in their communities.
So where?
And that's the problem for me. It's like, really? That's simple for you? You know, you put out this big old budget. We're giving away $25 million. We want grassroots organizations to come give us their ideals. They want everything in detail for them. And then they'll send you something telling you you're not.
Somebody already get flashbacks.
They'll tell you you're not culturally competent to serve your community.
But not even just that too, but it'll also be like, you'll see the disbursements where they're like, oh, we're prioritizing BIPOC, grassroots, blah, 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 women-led. They'll say they're prioritizing that, and then you'll see the disbursement list, and like all the higher amounts are the very clear mainstream nonprofits that already have higher amounts. And then you go all the way down, and you'll see the 2,000, 6,000, 10,000, and that's the BIPOC,
15,000,
grassroots, women-led, all the ones that they said they want to prioritize in these.
And the part for me when it comes to grassroots organizing, it almost seems like there's this like resistance for grassroots organizations to build capacity. They're like, keep grassroots organizations grassroots. Seems to be the way of the land. Like there's very little available for capacity building. And for me, that's why for grassroots organizations like us who are in the community, who know our community, I think it's really important to gain community support, because it's like on one end we know that the people who are served by us know we got them, but they're also not the people we're going to fund us, because why are they here if they, you know what I mean?
If they're able to.
So my thing is like, I need there to be more awareness and support for grassroots organizations, because at the end of the day, we are the ones who are in the communities, boots on the ground, where the leadership actually reflects the community that they serve, where the leadership is connected to the community that they serve, and they know the needs intimately of the community that they serve.
Right.
So,
and are invested in solving these issues, because we all know we have a cousin, a friend, somebody that is needing our services, somebody that we know that like personally needs the kind of services that we provide, and that's why we fight so hard for it.
And so for me, there's like this frustration when it comes to this, because we see grassroots organizations, we know that they're doing the work, we know that they need money to build capacity to do more and better work, and then we see tiny investments from the foundations and, you know, the gatekeepers of these larger pots of money. So it's just really frustrating. And then we're already grassroots, so it's like the power is here, but where's the money in this capitalistic system?
That brings me back to my last rant. When you're in a domestic violence relationship, how does it benefit your abuser to empower you? Give that some thought.
I mean, this system is the abuser of Black and brown communities.
And they're holding that systemic racism all the time, telling you, oh, we understand, we want to help, we're here to help you solve your problem. We're sorry.
That gets said to grassroots organizations by these larger outside of our community entities. Tell us, convince us that you know what your community needs and that you can help them.
That's what I'm saying. They look at us as culturally incompetent to serve our own people. It's like we can serve ours, yours, and the next person's, because we've been there. You know, we've done that. Once you've been, suffering does not have an ethnicity. It doesn't care what color you are. So, boom, got you on that one. We can serve us and y'all too.
Well, yeah, if you think about it, clearly that's right, because tell me what injustice doesn't intimately affect the Black community. Even when it's affecting other communities, it still very much intimately connects the Black community, because we have so many crossroads and
once Black trans folks are free, we all free.
Exactly, and disabled. So it's just it's a lot. Organizing as a grassroots nonprofit is hard.
It's exhausting.
It's exhausting, and we need capacity building funds. And I think I like to talk about solutions too. So I think one of the great solutions to helping grassroots nonprofits is talk to your corporations. Even if you're at an entry-level job, find whoever you need to and be like, this is a grassroots organization that I know of, and you guys need to be supporting them. And don't let them just be like, oh yeah, they're great, but oh yeah, we see they're doing a lot of work. But no, put that pressure. Organize other employees that you know that would go behind that grassroots organization. And put the pressure on these corporations, because there's a lot of large corporations that, they'll be supporting an organization. It'll be an organization that's been around 20, 40 years, not really making a very large impact. Or been around 20, 40 years and has been called out for exploiting and pocketing money, but not actually putting that into the communities they claim that they're serving.
I'm about to start going to the rich neighborhoods where they have the Black Lives Matter signs and doing door-to-door canvassing for donations. Cause
how much do you believe Black Lives Matter? Like,
that one, yeah.
So go to your jobs. Go to businesses. If you frequent a business a lot, ask them, what do you guys do in the community to support local grassroots nonprofits? Because that's a huge question, and a lot of them are not. They won't even think to be doing that.
Yeah, so, capitalism don't move unless consumers tell it to.
Yeah.
No, literally, the whole purpose and premise of capitalism is profits. It's not humanity. It's not making sure everybody has what they need. It's profits.
Yeah, so
whatever
make it
you
profitable.
have to do to be exactly
Make it profitable.
Go to your jobs. Go to your friends in high places, go to your neighbors, anything, and just make sure that we're having the conversation of what grassroots nonprofits can we support. Because we can all support the Salvation Armies and the Goodwills and the United Ways and the other large organizations that we know have lots of money, millions of dollars. But what are we doing for those organizations that are on the ground,
in the trenches,
those smaller
Mm-hmm.
grassroots organizations like Abundance of Hope Center, like Arms Around You, like Build, like Community Passageways, like all these other ones, Black Elephant Party, like all these. There's so many. Even just in Seattle, there are so many. And you know what else is abundant in Seattle? Wealth.
Yeah, that one.
There's
that
one plus Juan equals 2.
Yeah, so
Lots
we can
of
actually
millionaires.
solve these homeless problems, people. We actually can solve. There are solutions. Trust in people who are in the trenches, who've had not only personal experiences themselves and had to, as we've been told by some other higher organizations, pull themselves up by their bootstraps. That's what you have out there helping your community. That ain't gonna work. You have to be willing to give that person the bootstraps and the belt. That's what A of H is here for.
And the boots.
They'll give you the boots.
I feel like this metaphor
we'll
just
give you the
took me.
boots.
I'm like, what?
You know where that comes
In
from.
conclusion, support your local grassroots nonprofits.
And let us know in the comments if you understood that metaphor, because I didn't.
Well, I mean, we got you basically. We got you.